This is my evidence-based plan on how you can build a £1 million property portfolio starting with just £30,000. Now, I know what you're thinking, this sounds like another clickbait video where someone just sells a course at the end, but if you go on my YouTube channel, you'll see that all my courses are free, including an 11-hour long property course which has more than 500,000 views, so there's nothing to sell. Now, to prove that this does actually work, I'm going to find a property which is on the market right now, and I'll break down my 4-step system on exactly how you need to do this. Now, the first step is buying the right property. Now, search an area where you live or you're familiar with. Now for the price range, put a maximum of £80,000. Now for the number of bedrooms, select 1 bedroom. Property type, select flats. You want to find something which is in pretty terrible condition so you can make the most amount of money. This one doesn't seem to be that bad. It seems to be in okay condition, so let's ignore this one. This one from the outside looks pretty bad, but it seems to be okay. Let's have a look at this one here. The kitchen seems to be very outdated. The walls need to be redone, the ceiling also needs to be redone. There's a lot of issues going on here, and then the bathroom also looks very outdated. So now this is on the market for £70,000. Given the condition it's in, you can probably knock that slightly and get it for around £65,000. To buy this property, you will need a 25% deposit, which comes to £16,250. You'll have some legal fees in order to buy it, which is about £1,000. You'll also have some finance fees, again about £1,000. And then you'll have to pay stamp duty, which is a tax you pay when you buy a property in this country. Go to stampdutycalculator.org.uk, click additional property, put in the price of £65,000. So your stamp duty comes to £1,950. So your total cost so far is £20,200. Now for step 2, not only do you need to refurb this property, and you also need to reconfigure it. So I would take the kitchen units from here. I would close this wall up and I would move the kitchen along here as an L-shaped kitchen. So this room would become an open plan living room. And then I would take the kitchen and I would convert that into the second bedroom. So the property would go from a 1-bedroom flat into a 2-bedroom flat. Now, just a quick point about doing refurbs when you don't live that close to your property and you're trying to invest remotely. So you might live in one location and your investment property might be an hour away, maybe a couple of hours away. Now at my house, I'm currently doing a small kitchen extension, but in order to give builders access from there, what we've done is we've taken this door off and we put that there so the builders can just come and go because someone's not always at home. Now, just for security and peace of mind, what I've done is I put a eufy SoloCam S220 camera there, which is very discreet, and it captures all of this area here in 2K quality. So you can see exactly who's coming going from this angle here. And then for the security of the house, I've got a eufy SoloCam S340 camera here. Now this camera has a tilt and pan mechanism, so when it captures someone, it starts to follow them very slowly. Now this will capture everything in that area in up to 3K quality in dual cameras up to 50 feet away. And you can also communicate with the people it captures on the camera. Hello mate, you can just leave the delivery in the front door, is that okay?
Thank you. What's the code, please?
Now both of these cameras are powered by solar, so you don't need any batteries, don't have to recharge them, don't have to drill any wires in. And now the UK is in the sunniest of places, but it only needs 2 hours of sunlight every single day in order to be fully charged. Now today's been a particularly cloudy day, but as you can see on the app, the cameras are still charged up. The cameras work in any weather condition and you don't need any monthly subscriptions. All you have to do is buy the camera, drill it onto your wall, and you're good to go. So if you're doing a refurb and you just want some added security for your home, then you can get both of these eufy cameras absolutely free. All you have to do is leave a comment on this video by the 26th of July or subscribe to my YouTube channel, and one lucky person will win both of these cameras. Thank you eufy for sponsoring this video, and now let's work out the numbers on this refurb. I recently bought a brand new kitchen for this property here, and that cost me £1,700 for the entire thing, including the appliances. The flooring also looks pretty bad, so you'd have to put brand new flooring for the entire property. For the flooring, you're looking at probably about £20 per square meter or £25 per square meter. So that'll cost you around £1,000. The radiators also look pretty old, so you would have to replace those. They normally cost you from £150 to £200. So it'll cost you around £800 to replace all the radiators. And then finally, the bathroom needs to be completely redone. For this property here, I got this entire bathroom for £1,000. And then finally, you have the labor. Ideally, you need to find handymen, electricians, and plumbers on day rates and do the absolute minimum in order to get this uplift. And you have about £5,000 in order to get that done. So now your total refurb cost would come to £9,800, which means that you spent your £30,000 on buying the property and then doing the refurb. Now for step 3, we need to work out how much money that makes. So you need to go back to Rightmove, scroll down, and then click property sale history, and then click go to nearby sold prices. Now once the property has been converted into a 2-bedroom property, we need to see how much that 2-bedroom property is actually going to be worth. And this shows us all the properties which have sold in the building recently. You can see that number 54 Albany Walk was a 2-bedroom flat which sold for £125,500 on the 4th of November 2022. If we open this up, you can see it's in pretty dated condition. I doubt the bathroom was in pretty decent condition either. If this was in brand new condition, that could probably be sold for maybe £145,000, £140,000. That doesn't mean that our property is automatically worth £145,000 because this is clearly a bigger property than the one we're looking at. Now, if we look at the floor plan for our one, it looks like this. It doesn't have any of the sizes, unfortunately, on Rightmove, but this is clearly bigger because of the bedroom too. I don't think our property is going to be worth £145,000 because it is smaller, but I think on a conservative basis, it could still be worth around £105,000, maybe even 110 on a good day. At this stage, you need to refinance this property. Now, this might sound a bit confusing, so I'll take it a bit slowly. Once you have converted the property into a 2-bedroom property, you then need to get a bank to come and value that property. And let's say the bank comes in and they do value it £105,000. Well, that bank will give you a 75% loan, so a 75% loan to value mortgage on that property, and that loan is £78,750. So the bank will give you £78,750, but you bought this property for £65,000 and you borrowed 75% when you bought that property. 75% of £65,000 is £48,750. So you still owe that bank their £48,750 when you refinance that property. So now when you do refinance a property and you get the £78,750, you then repay the first mortgage of £48,750 and you're left with £30,000. Now that £30,000 goes straight to you. So now if you think about it, you spent £30,000 cash in order to buy this property and do this property up, and you've ended up with getting £30,000 back. So essentially, you've got a property and it hasn't cost you any money. Now, that might seem like a bit of a scam that, well, where's this money come from? But it's not just come out of thin air. It's because your mortgage has gone up. You borrowed more money, and that is how you've got your money back. But the reason you've been able to borrow more money is because you've increased the value of your property, and now it's worth significantly more than what it was worth before. Now, at that point, you need to move on to stage 4, which is working out how much money that makes you on a monthly basis. Go back to Rightmove and click Property Sale History again, and then click Go to Nearby Sold Prices. Now, this time, copy the postcode, go to Rent, click Properties to Rent, and then stick this postcode in. Now this time, for the number of bedrooms, we need to select 2 bedrooms. And then for the property type, you need to select flats. And then also check this box which says Include Let Agreed Property. That will essentially show you all the properties which have already been rented out and already have been taken off the market. So we can see that it hasn't found any properties within that exact postcode. So you need to click here and then increase this to a 1/4 mile radius. Now it's found one property which is also a 2-bedroom flat. It's on for £945. It looks in decent condition, but it also has this outdoor space here. It might also be in a slightly better location, and it might also be slightly bigger. So I doubt we can rent ours for £945, but maybe we can rent ours for around £850. We then need to work out our mortgage cost based on the new loan. The website I use is Money Saving Expert. For the mortgage debt, this is our new loan of £78,750. The mortgage term you can ignore because our mortgage is interest only anyways. Right now, you can probably get a buy-to-let mortgage for around 5%. And then you need to click Calculate. So the monthly mortgage is £328. Now let's assume we put aside 10% of our rent, £85 every single month for maintenance issues which might crop up. And since this property is a flat and not a house, you'll probably have some sort of monthly service charge you have to pay to the freeholder, which covers your building insurance and everything else. That will come to probably another £100 per month. Now, assuming that you manage this property yourself, you won't have any management costs, so your monthly cash flow will be £321 per month or £3,852 per year. So now once you're making this money, you've got your £30,000 back, you're making £3,852 per year, which is increasing your pot. Now you can use that money to buy another property and essentially repeat the process. And if you can buy 8 or 9 properties, you end up with a £1 million property portfolio starting with just £30,000.